Hi everybody, Brian here, quantlabs.net. Tonight is 10:40 Eastern Standard Time. Today is January 5th, so let us talk about the new meltdown in the markets. All right, so the Federal Reserve met and they blab and they going to do interest rate hikes and inflation still there, blah 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 blah. Okay, so you can see here everything's kind of down. It was a lot steeper. Oil is down, gold is down. Some of the forex here is up. VIX is up quite a bit, 16%. And the funny thing is this. Bitcoin and crypto are down pretty severe. You would normally think, and it was up until a point, where crypto always had nothing to do with the mainstream media, and there you go. Okay, so welcome to a new world and a new year. So this is everything here since I've now figured out I need to transition. And then we have the international is down. Well, Japan's down, but the UK is up. It doesn't really matter, but let's get over to our Rwanda data. I will continue to use this data on Rwanda. This will help immensely choose where to put capital, just so you know that interactive brokers will soon be funded. And I'm hoping to get the ETF analysis and maybe the micro cap done, not in the next day, but maybe early next week. All right, so that's for interactive brokers. So I'm not going to go too long on the currencies, the forex. I got a comment on my YouTube channel. I can't be the only one who's not seeing this. Is that people? Saxo Bank has now said that their forex dropped last month. If you look at Saxo Bank, their volumes have been dropping in crypto, and it's all going into equity. Now I could see, and I'm going to show you why. You probably already know, but one of the currencies that are benefiting from this is the Japanese yen. As you can see there with the Canadian. But here the Swiss franc is just not. I mean, we've seen this pattern many times before. Here is the SPX 500. Look at that big drop. That's a pretty big drop. I mean, outside here you got in December 1st. So this may recover, but it just shows you how jittery and spooked the markets are when the Federal Reserve speaks. I don't think we're at that desperation yet, but we'll see more of that kick in a high gear at some point. So here we have the UK 100 dropping. I mean, even though it says it's positive, really? US top 30 here didn't drop so much, but it still dropped. So everything's driven by sector. Pound against the Japanese yen seems to have strengthened there. USD Mexican peso dropping against the Danish. Actually, the Danish is stable. Now, namely gold. You can see here what I would expect historically is that gold should be spiking. It ain't being touched. It's gold in Hong Kong. It stayed flat all this time. Gold in New Zealand. Look at that. It's not spiking. This tells you how manipulated this is in some form or another. If it's a trading desk or if it's a set of trading desks of banks, hedge funds, I don't know. Derivative product of gold, I don't know. But this is not normal. And as I said earlier, gold, Bitcoin and crypto are now moving together with the performance of the markets. That is unusual. Silver and Australian dollar, this should be spiking as well. Same in the Swiss franc, same in the euro, so on and so forth. And I keep saying as well, mostly when you look at these listings here, a lot of them, Singapore is another one, but as I said, you won't find any of these big precious metals held in US dollar because nobody wants it. It's toxic. it's strengthening, but the situation for the U.S. government is getting worse. I mean, that's why they're having to raise interest rates to control prices as their economy may and start going to a solid decline. If you don't know that, either look up your economics textbooks, or I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, but that is just fundamental market data. That's how it works, and especially basic economics 101. So again, with the Australian CHF, same pattern. Here's our first US dollar. You can see it sort of strengthens and it stabilizes, but on the monthly basis, it has been dropping. And because there's a lot of emerging markets that hold debt in US dollar, they're going to get crushed at some point. Okay, so here we have Euro Australian dollar. Let's see here. And a lot of these areas in Forex just not that great. Okay, look at this monthly view here. We've seen this before. It peaks just before the financial crash in 07, 08, and it just, comes back down and it stabilizes and it goes nowhere. That I can show you time and time again. Now, there's always an exception. Scandinavian's one of them, where it shows some form of stability, or it'll trend up like this with the Euro, Norwegian. But when you look at the big five, like New Zealand, Australia, Canada, US, Britain, and Europe, things don't look too good. So here's, again, Euro and New Zealand, same pattern, as I said before. Or how about an Eastern country like Poland? This one's just very volatile. Not volatile, but it's stable. But will it go up? It would start to show signs of that. Or Euro and Sweden. A little bit of trend there, so that's good. The Euro, South African Rand, same thing. It's a lot more volatile in that trend move up. Here's a really good one, is the Japanese 225 on that basis. And I always say, when you look at which one market is best, look at that. The Japanese 225 barely moved with the bad news. Let's see how India has. Well, India has dropped back a little bit. On the monthly view here, actually, it's been stable. On the, let's say, hourly basis as well, a fairly decent trend up there as well. Netherlands, been flat, maybe starting to dip back. Singapore's not that impressive either. Singapore 30 declined today, in the last few weeks, but it's been range bound. Now, the other big ones, obviously the bonds. So here's the UK 10-year bond. How's that been looking? Very volatile, slightly trending up, but dropping lately. It's because obviously the better performing market. You can see here in the UK 100 on the monthly view. It's creeping up, but it's not the same steepness as what we've seen with the US markets as well. So USD Thai baht, is this a way out? I always thought so when you have these kind of little rallies, but that's really dependent upon, honestly, against the tourism dollars. So that's, again, comes back to the global sickness, right? But look at this. SPX 500, we look at this, very stable or flat, and then just suddenly dropped because of that new announcement. Everything was rock solid yesterday, and it's like boom, 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 and it gets hit. But the US 30 is not too bad. US Hong Kong, been sort of flat, and it's starting to climb, but something to watch for as a new trend. I can't say, of course. WTI oil has been flat. They said it was going to drop, but that's a 4-hour chart. I'm not seeing that, obviously. On the weekly basis, this is where maybe, just maybe, inflation may kick in again, because there's certain inflation has just suddenly kicked in again. And we'll see those with the agriculture. So, again, we've looked at the Japanese yen. Let's look at the pound against the rand. Stable. And again, similar pattern like all the other currencies with the rand. Trending up a little bit of, quite a bit of volatility there. Copper's a big one to watch. You can see it's been fairly range bound on a weekly basis, fairly stable. On a monthly basis, it's starting to potentially move up again. I think it could, as the economy starts to improve. Once again, the Australian dollar declined flat. And one of these is can be pretty good. This is pretty predictable now. It's Australia, New Zealand on a monthly basis, but really, nothing to get all excited about. The Deutsche 30, you can see that did rally, and then the last few hours it's dropped back. We already looked at UK Brent crude, fairly flat. It's probably the same as WTI. But we're still right in this holding pattern for the last few months. France 40 rallying, not hit so bad, so that's just another sign of where, from a defensive point, where you want to be. And that's on a monthly basis. Yeah, so that's pretty strong there. Okay, USD, CHF, the franc, same pattern, flat. This is why currencies are just not a good place to go. You got see here gold and Canadian dollar, very flat. 1 month chart. This should have gone up a lot today, but again, for whatever reason, I'm not going to touch gold. Continuing along here, we're just now into the very good sign. Okay, Euro 50. Not so bad compared to the US on that decline, but again, it's strong, but not as strong as the US historically on a monthly basis there. Okay, let's look at this one. Euro, USD, just coming out of, it's just flat since December. Again, you can see that big decline there since 2008. Singapore 30, it's been very flat there. Monthly chart, just been range bound for a number of years. Okay, the Russell shouldn't be so bad. Now I got hit fairly hard, it looks like. And it's flat as well in the monthly. Okay, here's one we want to watch is the USD China Yuan. It's been very flat for the last couple of months. Monthly, this is the big deal because you can see it had a rally between January 18 till about April 2020 and it's dropped since. That I can't really explain. I don't really watch the news like I used to, but look at this big decline here on USD INR. This is a pretty good currency to hold. Well, it's actually dropping, but it's the USD INR. USD Poland, Zloty declining there slightly. Monthly view, very choppy with a bit of a trend there. It's not much here. These are the usuals. Okay, let's start looking at the agriculture, as I mentioned. Soybeans starting to increase from $12.25 to $13.80. That's a fairly big price change over the last month or so. Here you can see it's starting to go up again. So that's probably one of the big reasons why the Federal Reserve is responding the way they do, because they're hoping that this would continue to decline. So for the last month, your soybean, your corn, looks like it's going to skyrocket, and this is, it's starting to go up there as well. So it's probably why the Fed's doing what it's doing. And even on an hourly basis, it's been fairly range bound. What else we got here? Everything else I think we've seen or really not worth going on about. We know about the Rand. This one's an interesting one. The Rand and the Japanese yen, very flat. Look at that, it's been declining now along with the yen. But if it was the US dollar, USD and the Rand, it would be the opposite. Okay, I think, yeah, we're done. All right, so if you like that, you want more analysis, more up to date, what we're doing on the world of ETF on Interactive Brokers, go to quantlabs.net/contact, fill it out in your phone, get on that email list, newsletter. Every day we send stuff out. All right, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.